Good evening, and welcome to Motivational Monday. I'm your girl, Jackie O. We have our very special guest here, Miss Brandi Anderson. Hey, Brandi.
Hi.
Thank you all so much for joining us on tonight. Again, this is Motivational Monday with me, your girl, Jackie O. Motivational Monday is all about creating a space to inspire and motivate women. And so we are super excited. Y'all hold on one moment for me. I hear myself talking and I don't think I have anything on.
It's all right.
I probably have my to inspire and motivate. Y'all, hold on one second. Okay, here it is, right here.
It's okay. Things like this happen all the time.
Technical difficulties. Okay, so here we go. I have my Facebook page pulled up and it was on, and I'm just talking away. Did y'all hear me? Okay, so we are all about inspiring and motivating women and calling you to action. And so we bring different people on, different experts in their field, and we talk about all different types of topics. And so tonight we're going to be talking to Brandi Anderson. She is going to be sharing with us her journey on how to move past the trauma. But before we get into that, I wanted to thank our sponsor for tonight. So our sponsor for Motivational Monday tonight is Anar Gourmet Foods, all the way in Pennsylvania. It is a woman-owned business. They have Indian-inspired seasoning mixes, and they are all gluten-free, they're organic, and so you can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Anar, that's ANAR Gourmet Foods, and also on their website, anargourmetfoods.com. And if you use the code Jackie O, that's me, Jackie O, JACQUIEOOH, you will get 15% off your purchase. So y'all hop on over to Anar Gourmet Foods. I have tried the seasonings. I've had the tiki masala, the chicken tiki masala. I think that's what it was. And it was a home run in our house, let me tell you. So you all will not be disappointed. If you like Indian food, Indian spices, you need to hop on over to Anar Gourmet Foods and check them out. Use code Jackie O for 15% off. So again, we want to welcome Brandi. Brandi, go ahead and let's kick the show off by you introducing yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I can't see anybody, so hopefully everybody can see me. But my name is Brandi Anderson. I'm a mom. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, beauty influencer, a speaker, as well as a pro makeup artist. So as a part of my business, I recognize that women, young adult women and moms, because I'm a mom of 3 girls, in the stages of college, elementary, and daycare. So
wow. Oh, wow.
All in between. So I've been through it all and still going through. So I can always learn a little bit of something, but I recognize that these type of women that even through trauma or everyday life, that it's sometimes hard for us to see hope. So for someone who has encountered a death-like experience, I make it my business. I'm very passionate about helping women overcome trauma and finding hope in everyday life situations, and also in things that have happened to us in our past. So I try my best to share my story to give people hope, because one of the biggest things is that in order for you to be encouraged that there is another side to this thing, you have to see it. You have to sometimes see the display of someone who's come out on the other side, and to say, there is a possible way, there is a way to get through this.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about myself. And also I live in Fort Worth, Texas. I know you had mentioned that and asked me about that. So located in Fort Worth, Texas. I've been married to my husband, for Leonard Anderson, for about 8 years. And of course, I just went over our girls and our age gaps that we have at home.
Yeah. I can totally identify with that, with having such a huge age gap, because I have two grown sons. One is in his like early 30s or so, and then one's almost 30. And then I have a 19-year-old that'll be 20 like next week, and
Yep.
a 50-year-old. So
Yep.
there's like that gap. But girl, listen, I love you and your patience for having that little one still, them little ones. Because let me tell you, my time with little ones, I have a grandson, and
Okay.
yeah, I'm a Genie. He's 5, and I love for him to come visit, but I love when he goes home too.
So bye-bye.
See you later.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So yes. Well, again, Brandi, thank you so much again for
Oh
accepting our
yeah.
invitation to come on and to share your story. And I love just your energy. And guys, just a little bit of how I even met Brandi. With me, I am always, when I attend events or anything that I do, there's always a purpose behind it. So I'm not just willy-nilly going to places and doing things. I always want to make some type of connection. And so we were at this mall. My husband was taking it because we had never been there before. And so when we walked in, we were walking around a little bit, and then there was a pop-up shop that was there. And we were like, oh, let's go in, because we saw women and women of color. And so we're like, let's go in, let's support them.
Yeah.
And so we went in and we stopped at the first table. There was a lady who had hair care, and my daughter has natural hair, so she was getting products. And then there was Brandi, and she was full of life, and she was just like, she had her lip gloss line, her lipsticks. And I was like, oh, wow, she's great. She's great. And so I followed you on Instagram, because I told you, I said, I'm going to follow you on Instagram. I did. And I had just been following her, watching her story. And I said, wow, Brandi would be such an awesome person to just share her story, because the bits and pieces that I have heard of it, I haven't heard the whole thing, just how you went through it and how you came out of it. And you came out of it victorious.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to talk about, because, a lot of times we go through the struggle, we go through things, we experience trauma, all types of things that just life, right? That we go through in life. But there is hope on the other side. Yeah. There is the sun that shines at the end of the tunnel, and the rainbow that we see after the storm. And I believe that all of that happened in your story. So I want to hop right in, Brandi, and for you to, tell us what happened with you and the trauma.
Yeah. So one, thank you for having me, and thank you for all who are joining today to listen in to my story. I am so grateful. I'm always honored to be invited to talk to anybody's audience and viewers. But July 20, funny enough, July 26th is my mother-in-law's birthday. So every day that comes around, it is a reminder of what happened to me on that day. And at this point in my life, the story is a reminder of how grateful I am to be alive, because I shouldn't be here. I wasn't supposed to be here if it was allowed the way it was supposed to end. So on July 26, 2010, I encountered being stabbed multiple times in my home around 9:00 p.m. And during this situation, incident, this traumatic situation, when this person showed up, it was very casual. So let me start there, because when you hear it, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you went through that. But then there's always the curiosity of like, how did that even happen? Yeah. And so leading up to that was really, it was really casual conversation. This was somebody I knew. And so when you know somebody, you don't feel threatened at all, because you feel like that this person you wouldn't think this person would go to this degree to do something that extreme. From there, after having casual conversation, I would say at least, 20 minutes. I really don't know the time, but I know it was enough for us to walk around my apartment at the time leading up to this attack. So when this happened, I was sprayed with mace. So if you've ever been sprayed with mace, it's like pepper spray, just it attacks your whole being. It gets in your eyes, it gets in your nostrils and all that stuff. So my defense response was to put my arm up to protect my eyes and to ensure that I would be able to see, because I didn't know what was happening. All I know is that once the mace was sprayed, the attack started to happen. This person had brought their own knife with them. And then in the midst of that wrestling, that knife broke somewhere in between. And then with as much view that I had, I saw this person pull the knife from my knife block, and it was the bigger one. So just to give you like an idea of how traumatic this was, from there, I started feeling stabbing. At this point, I remembered that my door was unlocked. So I believe, looking at hindsight, I believe that was the Spirit of God telling me there's an exit out. You can get out of this. First attempt wasn't successful. Second attempt, finally got out the door, ran to my neighbor's house. And from there, I was led over to Harris Hospital from there. From that point on, I started to question about life. What's going on? Why would somebody want to do something like that to me? What did I deserve? And these are real feelings and emotions that happen, because, and I want to tell your viewers that, because I want them to understand that there is somebody who's listening to this who probably is feeling the same way. You have gone through something traumatic and you're probably questioning, like, what did I do to deserve this? And that's real. That's a real emotion. Yeah. And that happened. And so out of that, I had a really good support system. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about that. But when I got to this place, it was very scary. You are wondering, you're going through all the emotions of like, why did this happen to me? Did I deserve this? You start flashing back to life experiences that you actually had leading up to this moment to say, was it something I did? Was it out of a response or a reaction? Did I say something bad to someone? All of these things are so real. And it's a response out of what is going on with you, because your body is in flight mode. Your body is just, let me get out of this whole situation and let me hurry up. And then once you have relief, you're then in this place of, okay, now whatever this adrenaline that's going on, it needs to now come down, and I need to figure out what's my reality right now.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So Brandi, this was someone that you knew, mm-hmm. and they were in your home, and yeah. you just attacked.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is crazy. But one thing too that you shared with me last week was that you were a new Christian.
Yes.
And you were a born again believer. You had just got saved. Yeah. And you were asking God, like, why did this happen? How did this happen? Just kind of like what you said, all the emotions, mm-hmm. and you were questioning, did you do something wrong, say something wrong? And I could just imagine, as a new believer, that you were thinking, oh my goodness, God, why did you allow this to happen?
Yeah, that's so real. Yeah. And I share that through my Instagram lives that I did the past 2 weeks, is that there was times where I was questioning this journey of, I was excited. I was on high. If you ever met a new Christian that gets saved and born again, they're on high because they now have been exposed to this new way of life, and they see you get to get a glimpse, or just to see that there is hope. There is another side to this thing, and there is joy and happiness in all of these things. And there was nothing in the word that says that you are going, once you've been born again, you are escaped from the attack. Because
Exactly.
of course the enemy doesn't like it, because he had you, the enemy had you trapped.
Yeah.
When you weren't born again, you were somewhat trapped. So the enemy had these opportunities to put you in positions where you can sin and it never affected you, or these things didn't bother you. And so this was a new life for me, especially for me and my daughter at that time. I think Danielle, my oldest daughter, who is now 19, she'll turn 20 this year. We have the same birthday. But it was new. It was a new journey for us. I didn't grow up going to church. So this was all new to me, but it was great because I got all this support. Once I decided to give my life over to Christ, I really got a lot of support. So it was just, I was just in a really good place and space, and I made friends who were like-minded, and all the things that came with being born again and inheriting this new family. And then this happened. And you start to question, okay, God, are you real? It's like, and these are things that went through my mind, my psyche, the emotions, all of the things, to make me think, is this like, is this what happened?
Yeah.
So what is this? And this happens to new Christians? Like, what did I do? So, to the new Christian who may hear this, just know you didn't deserve anything to have something like that happen to you. It wasn't because of something you did. Unfortunately, there are things in our lives that we encounter. Why we encounter them, I don't know. But as I've grown, I'm recognizing that this may be freeing for someone else. It may deliver someone else. Somebody needs to see hope. And so my voice is now being heard to say, there is hope. There is another side to this thing. You don't have to stay stuck in this mentality anymore.
Yeah, that's good. And that your story, the storm, everything that you went through is not only for you, but it's for someone else. And I like what you said about that. And I also like how you said being a new Christian, it does not, and being a Christian at all, does not exempt us from going through things. And so we have to know that, and the scripture tells us too, that, no weapon formed against us will prosper. So we know that we're going to go through these things, but guess what? The weapons are going to come. The darts are going to be thrown. The enemy is going to come, but it will not prosper. And so that's what we have to, remain steadfast in, which is God's word, which is true all the time. It never changes. His word never changes.
Absolutely.
Well, Brandi, kind of walk us through what happened after that, your healing journey. What were some of the things that you did to get past this episode, this trauma that you experienced?
Yeah. So there's a few things. And I go through it through my Instagram live, and I went through a series of things. But the first one was that I didn't recognize, but of course, because this was a case that the state had to take on. So the state had free resources for me to go see a victim trauma counselor. And I think at the time it was called the Women's Center. And I don't know if it's still the same. It's over there by JPS. And I remember it very clear riding down the street, going there. But first off was getting some help, really talking to somebody. I'm not going to lie. I was very resistant. I wanted to move past this. It happened. Let's move on. I don't need to talk to anybody about these emotions. This is real. I'm starting to realize this is real in our community. As a African-American and also just a biracial child, I'm recognizing that those things weren't talked about. Like when you go through something traumatic, you didn't even talk about it. So it can psychologically make you think that talking to somebody who is a licensed profession, it can make you think like that's people go to that if they're crazy. Right. So that was kind of that those things were in the back of my mind in some way, probably subconsciously. So my resistance was real for my first few sessions. So I wouldn't say that I wasn't getting anything out of it, but there was a lot of pushback that was happening. But this counselor really kept digging until she found a place within that session to really break ground and say, okay, let's dig deeper. So that's one of the things that I had to do. The second thing is that I had to receive love. And that was a little bit difficult because the way that I seen love in my family versus the way that I was getting love at that very moment, there was moments where I wanted to resist it and just tell myself, like, I can just stay to myself. I don't need all of this extra. I don't need all these hugs. I don't need this food. I'm good. I'm good. Everything is going to be okay. I'm fine. Just, can we not talk about this? But I had to receive love for myself. And this is a part of my journey, not just the initial aftermath, but throughout my journey, through this healing process, is love was a big thing. And love was a part of the support. So that's my third thing, is that the support that I received was from a lot of my friends, especially now that I've joined this church. I had a new family, and this family, and including my family, they came in and stepped in and said, what do you need? We're here to listen. So I have people who supported me just by picking up the phone and calling me, coming to visit me and listening to my story, listening to the emotion that I was having, getting me set up, because this wasn't at the end of July. So my daughter, Danielle, had to get ready for school. So helping me with that, helping me with having food to eat and not have to worry about the necessities or the essential things, so that I can focus on getting myself healthy. And then the other thing was really affirming myself. If anybody goes and look at my Instagram, they will know that I started really talking about the affirmations that I had to do to get myself into a better place, to know who I am. It's a continuous thing that I have to do. I stop, I come back, I stop, I come back, but I'm constantly revising those affirmations to reaffirm who I am and who I want to be in the right now. And so those were the core things that I had, or the things that really got me through this healing journey. To extend that, I also had to write a lot. So I stress to my viewers and my followers is that, get a journal and just start letting stuff out. Because remember, you're scheduling with this therapist. You're not seeing them every day. So in those in-between times, you have to release those emotions through something, either talking to a friend that is just going to listen to you, allow you to be emotional, allow you to cry, allow you to get angry, whatever that may be, but also writing it down. And writing it down, even if it doesn't even make sense, just get it. It's a part of the healing process, is really getting that stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I went through a traumatic experience, actually a domestic violence relationship. So I can totally relate to that. And with the therapist, the trauma therapist, and that I, saw, and writing, and that is so true, writing down those things, releasing you to get that out. And a lot of times people don't think that writing in a journal or writing helps, but it really does. It really does for you to write. I journal all the time. And so I write prayers, gratitude prayers, or things I'm just asking for, or just, if I'm feeling like, I'm writing that down. And then you go back and you read it, and like, and it could be like a prayer that God has answered. I mean, just pretty much anything. So I think journaling is a really great form of therapy. And I like too that you had not only your family, but you also had your church family, your new family in Christ. And so they were there and they were showing you love and what love looks like. And I do believe too that also helped you, because they were showing you the kind of love that God gives us. So he was working through them, right? Showing you and just loving on you. So I really, like that. So you went through this process, and those are the 4 core things that you did. And so somewhere along the way though, Brandi, do you have feelings of like you might be hopeless, even though you are just so energetic, you have God, you've gone through these things, the therapy, all, everything, you're doing everything right. And then what happens? You have this feeling. Have you ever like had that before and then you just got to get back on track?
Oh yeah, absolutely. During COVID, I had just had Michaela, which is my youngest daughter. I had an emergency C-section that I really didn't want to have. I mean, the odds were there that there would be a high chance to get it done. I was dealing with teenage woes. I found out I had bed bugs in my house. It was a lot. It was probably a re-traumatic experience. And I'm like, what is going on? But here was the thing: when I felt hopeless, I did revert back to some bad habits that I have, like withdrawing, isolating myself. But I had some really good friends that recognized that and, would call me and be like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that is a big part of any type, I say a big part, but it plays into a lot of the recovery when you can have someone that can take your information and secure it with their life and get the necessary people to help you out as well. So they're like your phone a friend and they call everybody else to make sure that you have the support that you have. So when that door was open, I leaned into that. I called my friend. And my friend made a lunch arrangement with me to sit down and talk to her and, just kind of get all this stuff out. I cried. I got emotional. Sometimes I felt myself saying, I don't even know where to go. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to begin. So yeah, everyday life, little situations, sometimes we can feel hopeless, but I had to lean into, look how far you've come. This situation is real. Yeah. You feel some type of way, but look how far you've come. You will overcome this. The joy of the Lord is your strength. The Lord is the strength of your life. So you're going to get through this, period, regardless of it all. It was just when you're in the thick of it, you think about like, oh my gosh, there's no way out of this. Like it's sometimes natural for us to do that. But I had a little bit of that, but once I got a chance to start talking about it, getting things out, understanding what my situation looked like, then that allowed me to be able to say, okay, it's going to be okay. It's just going to take me some time, take a deep breath. And I just continued to smile, even when people didn't know that I was going through something like that. Only my closest friends knew all the emotions that I was dealing with. I still put a smile on my face. I think that's something I inherit from my mom. My mom does that a lot. Even when I know that she's dealing with stuff, she still shows up and she's still smiling and happy. And so something about that always ends up spurring up out of me, where I think it really could be worse. My life was almost taken away from me. It could be a lot worse. Not saying that the thing is not hurtful at the moment, but it could be a lot worse. I'm here today. So you know what? We're going to get through this.
That's right. I love it. I love it. I love the positivity of it. And, there's so many takeaways as I was just listening to your story. But one of the things too, with you calling your friends is you talked about the scripture. And so you stood on the word too, so that's another thing that I think is really important, is that we stand on the word. We do all these other things because yes, we do need to have the therapy, the journaling, the talking to friends, and we need to have all of that, but we also have to like pull out, the word that has been in our heart. We go to church, we study and meditate, we do all these things. So when we get in those situations, that's when that needs to come up and rise up, and we need to, moving.
Yeah, that's the time that we shouldn't isolate ourselves, but it's easier when you isolate yourself. It's easier. It's just easy. I could be to myself. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't have to talk about these emotions. I don't have to address what is going on. I can just sweep it under the rug. And what I realize is that eventually it does come up. It comes out somewhere, either from a decision that you make, either from interactions that you have with people. Sometimes the way that we do day-to-day life, things, it comes out somewhere. And sometimes and most times it could be derived from the fact that you haven't taken the time to really heal from that situation or that thing, because it's easier to just remove yourself and say, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm just going to walk away from it. It's easier to do that. The work is in really participating in this healing process and journey.
That is awesome. Oh my goodness, y'all, it seems like every time we're like really getting into the like thick of it, the good meat of it, our time comes. Yes. But Brandi, before we leave, I definitely want you to, what would you like to share with our audience? I mean, you've shared so much, but like, what would be your leaving words that you would like to share with them of like some steps or just some encouragement that you would like to share with them?
Yeah, I would say step out and just get the help that you need. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. I have women today that, have my cell phone number that reach out to me. I have women that message me in Instagram, DM me, and ask me about my advice or encourage me or say, hey, Brandi, I needed that word, or whatever the case may be. And your energy is, life-changing. So just take the first step, and whatever your first step looks like. If that's journaling, then journal. If it's finding the resources to find you a therapist, then do that. If it's calling a friend and saying, hey, I really need to talk about something, take the first step, because the more that you withdraw yourself from not addressing what is going on emotionally, the more it can tear you up on the inside. And you're here for a purpose, and you have something that the world needs. And so we need you to heal. We need you to go through the process. So I say, get the help that you need and take the first step.
Yeah, I like that. I love that. And I love that you said that we all have a purpose. Yeah, because we do. I mean, we were here put on this earth for a reason. And so we are a part of the big puzzle. Yeah. And so it doesn't matter, whatever it is, whatever we've gone through, wherever we are in life stage, we matter, our lives matter, and we have a purpose, and we have a story to share with someone else, to help someone else. And like you said earlier, to give them hope, to let them know that, listen, I look like you. I've been there. Yes. I came out. Like, God brought me out of a situation that I am not supposed to even be here. Yeah. Absolutely. Girl, that's enough to let you just like run around the kitchen table.
Okay. Okay. Hello. Okay. Hello.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, Brandi, again, it has been such a treat. Please let us know, let the audience know, how can they reach you? And I'm also going to put everything in our caption, but let them know how to reach you. What do you have coming up so that we can support you? Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, so right now you can email me at BA Experience. So that's Brandi Anderson Experience, but it's BA Experience LLC.com if you need to get in contact with me for anything. And then from there, I could just give you all my social media stuff and channels and things like that. Also, starting September 10th, I will be starting a 6-week series where I actually will be doing something very similar that Jacquie O is doing. And it's called Hey Girl, Hey with Brandi. And it's pulling in licensed therapists who are focused on or have experience in trauma, and really do an interview style of, 30 minutes to really talk to them about identifiers. How do you move past it? What does it look like to get in contact with them? Why is it important to talk to a therapist? What does talking to a therapist look like? And so forth. And I'm also going to invite a couple of people that have overcame trauma a different type of trauma. And so got some special guests, and I'm super excited. So it's going to be starting September 10th on a Friday at 6:30 for 30 minutes. And we're just going to have a Hey Girl, Hey with Brandi. It's a conversation, but it's a real conversation that I think a lot of us need to have.
All right. So y'all heard it, starting September 10th. Hey Girl,
Yeah.
Hey, Brandi. And so she will get us all the information, and then we can make sure that you get the information. It'll be 6 weeks. So you guys, pass it along. If you need the help, somebody or you may not know somebody, just pass it along, because you just never know who may need to be on. And even if you don't need it, you can still hop on, because it could be information that you will have already. So if when the time presents itself that you might need to use it to pass it along to someone, you will have it. So again, Brandi, thank you again so much for being here with us tonight. We also want to thank again our sponsor for tonight for the show, Anar Foods, Miss Priya. I don't know if she's still on. She was on earlier waving, saying hey. So thank you to everyone that has joined us and that have been watching on tonight. And again, our business sponsor for the show is Priya. She is a woman that owns a business called Anar Gourmet Foods. Anar Gourmet Foods is a it's an Indian seasoning kit that you can purchase. She has 13 yummy flavors. I forgot to mention that earlier. 13 yummy flavors, and they're all gluten-free, organic. So if you guys go to her website, which is Anar, gourmetfoods.com. You do some shopping, put in code Jacquie O, that's JACQUIEOOH, and you will get 15% off of your purchase. Y'all, let's go over and let's support Anar. She has supported our show. She has been a guest on our show. She is just a supporter of the Jacquie O Project. And again, as I stated earlier, the Jacquie O Project, we are all about inspiring and motivating women. We support women-owned businesses and just women in general. We support you guys. And so, we would love for y'all to support her, because she is just an awesome lady, and she has a wonderful business. So we will see you on next week. Next week, we have another phenomenal guest. Y'all are going to have to be here next week, because I'm going to be posting the grocery list. Y'all are going to have a grocery list. Yes, we are going to have a live audience. And so, hey, if y'all want to hop on and be on Zoom live with us, just let me know. Just send me a DM or something like that. Let me know. But we'll have a live audience, and we'll have a grocery list. We're going to go shopping. And our guest next week is going to be the fabulous Lauren. And she will be... she'll be making some things online. So we're super excited to have her. And again, Brandi, y'all, and check Brandi out too, because the lipstick she has on, that's your brand. Correct?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes. This is I Am Chosen. I Am Chosen.
I Am Chosen. That's the name of what she has on. I Am Chosen. So y'all make sure you hop on over to her site as well. Do some purchasing. Get y'all some lip gloss, some lipstick. Get your lips popping and hopping. And until then, we pray that you have an amazing week, and we will see you on next Monday. And I know it's Labor Day, but hey, guess what? We're still rolling on Labor Day. So we'll see you then, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Facebook. All right. Good night, everybody.